Welcome back, everyone. Today, I'm showing you how to run the greatest DOS sim racing games created by Jeff Crammon and David Cameron on Android. Ironically enough, they are all the second generation titles of their forebears: Grand Prix 2, Indycar Racing 2, and NASCAR Racing 2. There's a reason these games resonate with players even today. The core of these games are true simulation. They represent their respective racing genres with such great precision. Car damage, tire wear, fuel consumption, car setup, yada yada yada, goes on and on. And while the graphics are very outdated compared to today's games, they are still revered and played by many enthusiasts of their respective genres. And rather than recording a lot of this, I'm using screenshots from my original how-to that I did many years ago, which I did when installing Grand Prix 2 originally. I will go over some of the new things I found and some workarounds I found to install both IndyCar Racing 2 and NASCAR Racing 2. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into it. So first, you will need to go to the Google Play Store and download Magic DOSBox. There is also a light version that will allow you to create only one launcher, but it's free. Once you download and run the application, the first thing you will need to do is create a launch point within Magic DOSBox. In the application, click on the plus icon on the left and the Add window will appear. Next, click New Game. Give your launcher a name and change the attributes how you like. In this example, I just gave it the title of Grand Prix 2 and I chose the location of the application. And from there, a lot of it I didn't really play with, but go ahead and play with it how you like. I'm going to go over a few things as we go down the line here. Make sure to mount the main program executable. And I also added the installer, but it's not necessary to have the installer in order to run the game. So we'll just take it from here. There are two ways to launch the game in Magic DOSBox. You can mount the drive and use DOS commands to launch the game. And in newer versions, there's the option to run in expert mode where the games will launch automatically. But one caveat here is that both IndyCar Racing 2 and NASCAR Racing 2 will not launch correctly without using DOS command line. So leave the expert commands unchecked for those two games. Now, if you use a Bluetooth keyboard, you're ready to play the game, just like on the PC. If you want to do key commands, follow the next steps. Next, press the escape key on the keyboard. The general settings window appears in Magic DOSBox. If you want to edit your control scheme, select Gamepad and Tilt. You can play around with the different configurations, but in the end, I just ended up editing the tilt controls. In the Tilt Controls window, I ended up adjusting the dead zone to 2.0 as the default didn't seem quick enough to respond, and going all the way to 0 made it overly twitchy. Ultimately, this is a user preference. I only edited the left-right arrows. Click the left-right arrows to edit the control method. Now select Key, and in the next window, choose the key with the comma and the less than symbol. You can then go back and do the same thing to the right arrow control method and select the key with the period and greater than symbol. This completes the tilt controls for Grand Prix 2. IndyCar Racing 2 and NASCAR Racing 2 have different controls, so make sure you map the controls as required for those games. Now let's add some basic virtual buttons, which you will need for basic game controls. Go back to the general settings by hitting the escape key. This time, click Add Virtual Buttons. Now choose where you want your first button and perform a long touch in that location. When the widget window appears, select Key and choose the appropriate key for the action you request. Do this for every button that you need to have a control surface for. Here is the control scheme that I originally designed with this game. There are the left and right arrow keys on the corresponding side of the display. The Enter key for when the Enter key is required for some menu options. The Space key used for shifting. And the A and Z keys on the right side used for throttle and brake. Then there's the Escape key, which will be needed to circumvent the fact that pressing the escape key on the keyboard always brings up the general settings in Magic DOSBox and does not actually utilize the escape key function in the game. Last but not least, go back to the general settings and click Save in the lower left. This will save your configuration for the next time you launch your game. Once you have all of your games mapped, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. I hope you've found this tutorial helpful, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.